Okay, Hal, Cashman. It's been a while since we've talked. You got to get Gerrit Cole a co-ace. Okay? As much as I like how Jameson Taillon is kind of really kind of starting to find himself again and come back. And coming back from a second timing John is a little bit different. It takes longer than coming back from a first timing John, but he's had some really good stuff lately. And so I like what I see from Jameson Taillon. He's pitching deeper into games as well, showing a little bit more grit and toughness, and his breaking stuff. He's got a lot of movement on a lot of his pitches. So I like what I'm seeing from him. Hopefully he continues that trend, but there's no guarantee. And you got Domingo Germán kind of all over the place. Corey Kluber, we don't know what to expect from him when he comes back, but he's an injury risk now, so I don't know if he'll be back. Luis Severino, we don't know what to expect, when he's going to come back. So he's looking good, but he looked good before, and then he had a setback, so we really don't know what to expect. Jordan Montgomery has been okay, but I think he's stamped himself as like a number 3 at best on the Yankees. So Cole needs a co-ace. I mean, when he was in Houston, he had Justin Verlander right up there with him as a co-ace. And I think in Gerrit Cole's case, even though he is a bulldog, an absolute gamer, and I love watching him pitch, he's one of the 2 or 3 best pitchers in major leagues. Okay? Hands down. But I think somebody up there to kind of push him would be a really good thing. And again, I know there's not a lot of, like, you're not going to get Jacob deGrom because the Mets are never going to trade the guy. So they'd be stupid to anyway. Unless he opts out and wants to go elsewhere, that's a different story. But I can't see that happening either. But I would be all over trying to get a Jose Berrios. And I'm not talking about necessarily a 1A, 1B. It could be a solid number 2. But another guy that is a consistent innings eater, that's a consistent gamer, that can also take the load off of the bullpen. Because, it's been most indicative this year. The bullpen's been a strength for the Yankees for quite some time. But it's been a weakness over the last, or kind of a weak link over the last 2 months. For a number of reasons. Inconsistent play, injuries. But we cannot discount the fact that they've been overused, for the last year or so because of some other guys being unrealistic, because of starters not going deep into games. They've had to be overused. So this is why we need another guy, like a Jose Berrios or a Luis Castillo, frontline guys. Figure out what you got to do to get these guys, okay? And you got to be bold and aggressive. I get the Max Scherzer thing, but the deferred money thing is a problem for me, and I think it's going to be a problem for anybody. Nobody's going to want to pick up that deferred money or even a portion of it. Why the hell would you? Wait till him to be a free agent, and then you sign him because the new contract the deferred money has nothing to do with it. So, but if you're going to acquire him, that's a different story. But if I was the Yankees, I'd be all over trying to get Berrios or Luis Castillo in this rotation to complement Gerrit Cole. And as a bull, just a crazy bull, when the offseason happens, Justin Verlander, I would take a flyer on him, try to bring him in as another starter, at the very worst, long reliever. Okay? Keep in mind, somebody thought I was crazy the other day. John Smoltz, after he was a Hall of Fame starter, turned into a Hall of Fame closer. And Justin Verlander's got a power on. There's no guarantee that at 40 he's going to be able to throw 7 innings again like he did before. But if you have 2 or 3 good-ass innings from Justin Verlander, I would be all over that. Plus, he's a gamer. And I think he would help push Gerrit Cole, push everybody else in that rotation and the bullpen. So having another gamer like that, to me, would be a huge get. And again, you could possibly get him on a moderate salary plus ridiculous incentives, so that if he does turn into a starter again, okay. But it's just a thought. But right now, Berrios, Castillo, those are the 2 guys I have my eyeball on. And there's other guys, but what are the chances of getting them? So these guys are gettable, and these are the guys you go over the threshold for. So House said I'll be willing. I'll see it when I believe it. But if I'm the owner, those are the 2 guys I go over the threshold for. I'm forgetting the pipe dream of the Brewers starters. I mean, the Brewers are competing. They're not going to trade their Corbin Burns or Woodruff. They're not trading these guys. Okay. German Marquez, if you can get him, you pry him too. So he's the other guy. Okay, so Marquez, Castillo, and Berrios. So those are the 3. And those are the 3 guys I would go over the threshold for at this moment. I would love to get a lefty, but I can't think of one that be willing to go over the threshold for and pay a lot in prospects for as well. But we got to get Cole. We got to get Cole to number 2. We got to get him. We can't have him and then a bunch of 4s. and maybe 3. You can't do that, especially if you guys want. If you want to compete against the Blue Jays and the Red Sox and Tampa Bay and all the elite teams in the American League, the White Sox, the A's, and all those bomb squads, and look at those lineups and the Dodgers and the Padres. How the hell are you going to get through those guys with one ace? It's going to be really hard, really freaking hard. So we need, guys, please, get this guy a number 2 to complement him, to push him, to make him better, to push the other guys that are below the number 2. We need another top line starter. I know we need left-handed bats, and I hope they work on that too. But if there's any way we can do both, that would be great. That would be wonderful. But we'll see. But yeah, we need a number 2, and it's never been more obvious. You know, it's been obvious for a while, but now it's painfully obvious. And I know Taillon's looking like a number 2 recently, the last couple games, but can't rely on a couple games. We need a consistent guy who's out there all the time. So, you know, I don't think Kluber will be back next year. I think it's too much of a risk. Taillon, I think, has an option, so he'll be back. Don't know what to expect from, again, Herman and Severino. They're just too much of a question mark, too much of a risk. You know, they need another guy. You know, they do. There's no two ways about it. Let's get a number 2, guys.